Good morning, good morning, good new moon morning. We have a really interesting, that word interesting, new moon in tropical Virgo and sidereal Leo. It's at 0 degrees of tropical Virgo and 6 degrees of sidereal Leo. And that anaretic degree in the tropical chart is always a turning point, a revelatory placement where something that we've been working on in the cycle is evolving toward some sort of revelation or unveiling is the word that's coming to me. And in the sign of the servant, right? Interesting about Virgo and the word virgin, unto oneself. There's like this gender weirdness about the word virgin and about virginity in our culture, but take it out of that context if you can and look at it as I'm trying to look at it at this point, as the voluntary servant, the one that knows, as we have spoken of in past readings, that our wealth is not in what we have, it's in what we give. It's in how we serve ourself and others. And then the king, the regent, the Leo symbol is best described by a person who serves those it is above in a hierarchy. I know that's how it looks in our current structures and in our current world, but I'm not sure that's what the original king was or what the best expression of a king is. I think the best expression of someone who leads is someone who serves. And it, cycles back into that my wealth is not in what I have, it's what I give. So we knew that we were going to be talking about leadership from our last spread, which I will go through very quickly here, but I also want to talk very briefly about this chart. Sun and moon at the bottom of the chart with a triangle up at the top of Uranus on the ascendant with the part of fortune. So that squares this new moon. And then it is opposite Pluto and at another square to Neptune and Saturn at the top of the chart. So what's being illuminated and what's being seen is this outer planet trifecta that we've been talking about for a while. As we head into eclipse season, this is just one more signal, one more symbol of a change for the larger culture. And we can all feel that. If you are sensitive in that regard, you can certainly feel that there is a big change going on in our culture right now. And it definitely involves this regent servant relationship. And I want to try to relate what we're seeing in the stars and what we're seeing in the cards to this relationship of one up. So in the last reading, we were Turtle. We were Mother Earth. We are the living, moving, breathing cognizing body, the cognizing organ of the earth, right? And we were crossed by the unconscious. And this is a beautiful representation of a new moon here as well. Even the full moon reading was pointing toward this new moon, which is the opening of eclipse season. More and more it came to me that this turtle, this indigenous conception of the earth, is crossed by our unconscious behavior. And more, our relation to the earth needs to be intuitive. It needs to be an open channel intuitively in order for what is hidden to come to light, camouflage, founded in camouflage, and power to be raised in right relation. Power. Moving away from limitation, obfuscation, and the shadow of Saturn and into grace. Om Aim Saraswatiye Namaha. Obfuscation, the word, I always forget it because it's not obscure, it begins with a D. Oh my goodness. Well, let me describe what it is. It's when you are confronted with a relationship of fear, when you are confronted by something that makes you panic and you play dead. The word I'm looking for is playing dead, and I always forget with this because it means basically forgetting. We begin by falling down and playing dead. We recover ourselves by realizing that all around us is the wealth we give, not the wealth we hoard. We realize ourselves through service, through serving others and ourselves. And we hope and fear aggression on both sides of the relationship equation. But we end with scrutiny and analysis and understanding. And that kind of understanding, power, and grace leads us back to leadership. Right relation in leadership. I put my carnelian bracelets on top of that so that they would be infused with this right relationship. And from there, we will move forward into understanding repair from the leadership perspective. What we're doing over this next cycle, in my humble opinion, is we are understanding the cycle of unity, disunity, and repair, and what it takes to move from disunity to repair. It's not something that's taught in our culture, and I'm using the work of Terry Real. He's a psychoanalyst. Well, he's not a psychoanalyst. He's actually a relationship therapist, and I'm using his work to teach myself the lessons that I did not learn in the patriarchy regarding how to repair in a way that honors both me and the relationship that I'm trying to repair, the other person that's in it. I have that going on many different levels of my life right now. A lot of it is requiring my power and my movement. And moving feels really good for me right now. That's a hint. I will tell you in the next couple of weeks what is happening. Loving this beautiful mountain town and very grateful for the lessons that I'm learning here, and hoping that I can pull off some repair with skill. So reality is kind of a reducing valve, right? It's giving us what we need to understand without blowing our circuits. And that means we can only get little parts of it at a time because we are biological. If we deny what we are meant to learn, aggression, if we are stubborn about our lessons, then we can miss the very subtle information that's coming through the reducing valve just for us. Each one of us has to learn how to deal with our relationship with the world and how to reconcile the subject-object problem, the interface between matter and spirit that we are. It is my hope that coming together at new and full moons, which are absolutely the interface of that arena, we can get some illumination on this through divination. All right. I think we are good here. Om Doom Durgaye Namaha. Om Shrim Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatiye Namaha. Om, Om, Om. In this reading for the next 28 days, 30 days, we are whale. This is a 5. A 5 is a changing number, a transitional number. It's the Akashic, and beautifully well done because this Leo full moon in the Sidereal falls in Magha Nakshatra, and Magha Nakshatra is the domain of the Pitris. It is ruled over by the deity of the ancestors. And this is the story of our ancestry. And that is what our biology is made of. Somehow, that's how spirit becomes matter in us, is through our DNA. And our DNA is like a library, a blueprint of not just our history, but the history of our entire biological species. Homo sapiens sapiens, the double-thinking monkey. And the mixture of water and fire that we are, the mixture of the elements. In alchemy, I'm finally finishing the book, Deb, the Pregnant Darkness book. In alchemy, we take all of the time and all of the elements, time being the zodiac, right? And the elements being matter, and they circulate, and new light is born from this. You are the new light of your family line. We are each the new light of our family line, and we get to bring new information to the whole here. God with two Ds, looking at the world through itself. Complicated, right? But beautiful. We are crossed by Mother Earth. Now, this is Earth Changes, is my very first impression of this. Our biology and our interface with matter is both an impediment and a place where we learn. This is not something that we have to take lightly. This is the medium and the message. And we are not in right relationship with the message, right? Now, back to Terry Real and relationship. Relational therapy. He says that in order to be in relation, we have to change our orientation to each other. So when someone comes to us with a problem, when we've got earth changes because we're not in right relation, we have to open ourselves and we have to listen. But we're not doing that. We're doing the conquest of nature thing, which really doesn't end well historically. What we know about the earth is coming up for a reckoning. The indigenous knowledge and wisdom that we have chosen to run progress all over is definitely proving itself in this moment, and looks like in the next 28 days. Not a light message there, not a happy thing, but definitely something in which we have to reorient our ability to listen and our ability to understand that consciousness is a shared thing, and all earthlings have it, from rocks and soil to NASA scientists, and it's foolish to think about life any other way. This is founded in loyalty. What will we be loyal to? And there is another 5. This is very much speaking directly to the changes of the eclipse. So we have to keep that in mind. Change accelerates during eclipse windows. This one will run September 7th through, I think, the 23rd. I could be wrong about that, the date for the second eclipse, which is a solar eclipse in Leo. So repetition, reverberation, where is your loyalty? Is it in your spaceship, or is it in the plastic, metal, and glass that you have derived out of it? It's a very simple reading so far. This is not complicated. What are you using your consciousness for? What are you using what the ancestors gave you to amplify? There is a debt implied in these 2 cards, and there is a loyalty that we need to observe here. It's founded in loyalty and crowned in magic. That's a 7. And if you read my recent post, you know how much the 7s are influencing this eclipse cycle. 7 is a healing number. 7 is a personal number for me as well. It is that reckoning, but the reckoning going right. The reckoning moving in miraculous ways. And sometimes when the earth moves, when the unconscious, the collective unconscious moves against the old biological fetters that we each bear, new land masses, new avenues are revealed. I just read yesterday, and I can't wait to finish the article, that 2 scientists, maybe more than that, I'm sorry, I just kind of said 2 for some weird reason, were able to teleport something for the very first time. So moving something molecularly in a way that we haven't before. New magics come when old structures collide, and it's our choices that reveal the magic. We are moving away from teacher. Now, Wolf is an earth teacher, and this is a number 6. So somewhere between this 5 and this 6 is, I want to say, an old education, an old way of being. And that kind of fits in with what Sidereal is saying about relational life, right? We've never learned how to be in good relation with each other. And nowhere in the world do we see that more vividly displayed than in our relationship to apex predators. This also hits very close to home for me, because these wilderness corridors that I stand in front of, this place where I have poured my spirit out to, where I have done the steps, the tobacco, the prayers for 30 years now, is the place where these animals won't be able to survive more of our ignoring the consciousness of Mother Earth. the consciousness of all the other beings around us. So we are moving away from not seeing our teachers consciously. We are becoming more human by understanding that suffering is shared on this planet, and the more suffering we create, the more we suffer. Let us please be learning that lesson, especially with regard to the animals that teach us, because that's what they do, friends. They're not lesser intelligence, they're greater intelligence. We are moving towards spirit. Look at the last two cards we got. We got moving toward grace, and we got moving towards spirit itself. We cannot build our nest in a swamp. I mean, that, I'm just going to mic drop on that, because what we do, how we live, really matters. And every day we have the opportunity to make choices that can create magic, or that can come in confrontation with the earth experience. I mean, come on, it's the earth experience. And if we're still thinking that we can harm other animals for profit, yeah, that's just regressive. It's just recidivist thinking. And these large outer planet cycles and these eclipses look like they're here to show us a different way. I hope so. We begin with ego. Now, isn't it interesting that ego is a 7? Ego is a healing. Ego is a starting place. Ego is the grain tower at right? It is something that you have to defend. Again, with Sidereal, you go back into relational therapy and you start to understand that in order to listen effectively, you have to put down your defenses, and you have to stop protecting yourself in order to reach out as a servant to a regent, and as a regent to the people you serve. These opposites work beautifully together. And the way the black and white of the skunk, the black and white of our magpie, the black and white of the Tao creates new light, creates a new way forward, creates a new way to see, is very beautiful. So, we each need to have an ego. We don't want to put the food in your mouth. I need to put the food in my mouth, or I'll starve to death. So ego is a necessary structure, and we begin there. But all around us is power. 8, number of transition, an octave higher than the 5s, the rest of the 5s that we see in this particular reading, right? We begin as ego and we move into our own power. What is being born here? What is all around us? The power of the earth. And if we're not loyal to it, and if we don't see it within each of us, and we don't give the power of love to ourselves, we don't own our power. It's not outside us. It's within and without us. All around us is power. We hope and fear grace. Om Aim Saraswati Namaha. Of course we fear it. Of course we're afraid to step into our power. Of course we're afraid to be all that we can be. But of course we want it. We want to see the full glory and the power of spirit and matter made manifest on this spaceship Earth. We want to know where we're going. We want to know what we're doing. And we want to move toward that focus, that realization, and that understanding. We spoke about unconsciousness in the last reading, and that being the thing that crosses us, moving away from hurting the earth teachers is definitely an unconscious process. Consciousness and coming to awareness can be painful at times, but it is what we strive for and what we fear at the same time. Hope and fear are brothers. Hope and fear inter-are. I hope that reached you in the way that it's supposed to, because that's a big old message right there. And we finish with action. This reduces to a 1, brings us back to our spirit realm here. You will know what the appropriate action is when it happens. There's this concept that I think Terence McKenna illuminated in understanding shamanism, that effective, appropriate action is the Tao, right? It is knowing when to move and knowing when not to move. It's that attitude of the peasant farmer who loses the horse and his ensuing stoicism about whether it was good luck or bad luck. You never really know, but you have to move from that place of inspiration, of truth within you, different for each one of us. Important that the diversity should be there because it makes up the whole of the earth. And it makes up the whole of spirit's relation to matter, right? When it moves you, move. And if you can't hold it, let it hold you, in the words of Dana Lynn Nuckols. It's okay to be in a relationship of openness. It's perfectly safe here. You are here in an avatar form. You're free to tear the pages of your workbook. You're free to make mistakes here. As a matter of fact, you think they got to teleportation at Oxford without making mistakes first? Mistakes are beneficial. We learn from our actions. We learn by doing. If we had this shit all figured out, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing this. It would be pointless to have actions. You must fight, Arjuna. Or, in our case, at this time, you must learn to relate. We must learn to open ourselves to this king's situation. It's interesting to me because I see the no king signs in the yard, and I know that what they really mean is no kings except me. Because would you still be saying that if you didn't have a yard, if you didn't have a house? You probably wouldn't. If you were traveling, kind of an itinerant worker like I am, you might sign up to work for a king for a while. You might not give it your full loyalty because your loyalty might be elsewhere, but you have to survive. You have to live another day in order to find grace, to find spirit. All of this in service to innocence. Innocence. We make mistakes. We are children. And we treat ourselves like gods. We treat ourselves like we should understand everything. We forget the humility of playing. We forget the integrity of other beings around us. We forget how much right action is effortless and appropriate. And we forget that our world is magic. It's built on light and energy. And we are magical beings. So I'm going to put the leadership crystals right on that innocence right away and go back through this one more time. We are the Akashic Record. We are the Word made flesh. We are crossed by Mother Earth. We are in relationship to Mother Earth. This relationship is founded in a loyalty of a magical alchemical combination created long ago with the old teachers of the world and moving toward realization of spirit. We begin with ego and move into the power that's all around us. We hope and fear our grace, and we end with effortless appropriate action, guided by our innocence. May your innocence lead you where you need to be. Thanks again for your attention and your time.